All right, first day of practice. Always exciting time of the year, all across the country, and every single year. And today's no different. I mean, guys they've been itching for this, and we were excited last night, excited this morning. And you get out there, and that sun comes out, and that humidity kicks in, and it hits you that it's camp. So it was the first day, and I'm glad we got some heat and humidity because we're going to need that to acclimate us here in August. Good first day as far as getting the practice in. That looked like the first day. Sloppy as all get out, and the heat comes out, and you lose some discipline with your young guys, and then your old guys. The Rajion Harrises, the Dustin Hall, Casey Kelly, Tay Johnson, Surad, Eli, Chad. The guys that have been there and practiced a lot. Hampton, the old guys, they just go. Because they've been through it. They have the mental capacity and toughness to handle it no matter what, and that's what we got to have from our whole program. So, good first day. Get meetings in this afternoon, walk through in the night, and get ready to go tomorrow morning again. We'll switch it up going into the weekend. We're going to go in the afternoons on Friday and Saturday. Give them a little bit more rest between Thursday's practice and Friday's practice, and get some afternoon work. Apps a 4 o'clock kickoff. So we got to prepare for that, and then we got a night practice next week to get ready for the opener. 3 of our first 4 at night, so we're going to get plenty of practice at night during preseason camp. So we're off and rolling.
You mentioned the guys itching to get out there. How was the energy out there on day one?
Oh, it was great. It was great. And then that sun hit them, and then about half of them were great, and the rest of them were just trying to survive.
How do y'all handle evaluating so early in camp, like the personnel with guys trying to learn, no pads on, just like, how do you try to handle that, make a fair evaluation?
Well, you try to take all factors into consideration. And my big thing with the young kids today, when we were talking in a team meeting this morning, is there's going to be times you don't know what to do. Just go hard. That way we can evaluate effort, we can evaluate athleticism. And that's the big thing is, for the next several weeks, it's figuring out who can do what. Also, what can we do? For the most part, we know defensively what we can do. Some of those guys play so many snaps, but offensively, you have a new system, a lot of new players, so you got to figure out who can do it, and then what can they do, and what are we best at? Because we got a huge offensive playbook, but you want to focus on the things that you do well, and that's what we want to major on going into the season.
With the quarterbacks, are you guys going to handle it in the spring early on, like one guy gets one day, the next guy?
Rock, paper, scissors. I decided today. Okay, so Caton went with the ones today, Jake went with the twos. Tomorrow they'll switch, and we'll keep on that way throughout the next several practices. If at some point in time somebody separates themselves, then so be it. But we want to give both of them an equal opportunity.
Did you see, increase like quickness in their decision making within the offense, kind of going from spring to fall?
Well, I think they're more comfortable. They know the offense. They're both smart kids, smart football players. They know the offense. They know where the ball is supposed to go. They're both good decision makers. I think that you're going to see that from that position. It's just, figuring out the other pieces around it and then who functions best.
What does the offseason look like when you are learning a new offense? Is it just like a bunch of studying? What kind of benchmarks do you kind of give the guys just to learn?
With the rules the way they are, we practiced all summer. We were on the field 2 days a week in June, 3 days a week in July. We're allowed 2 hours a week with the ball. If the coaches are out there, and the kids can get out there on their own also. So we have practice, all summer. And so offensively and defensively, we've installed the schemes multiple times now. So this is just another, we started over today. Today was install 1 for the offense, install 1 and 2 for the defense, and then progress on.
I saw, D Nash working at corner some. Kind of what went into that move? Is that like a long-term move or just kind of trying that out?
Well, obviously he has experience at safety and has played well there. He played at corner. He played corner at UNC. You look at his body type and his skill set, he can do both. He was probably better suited to be a corner when he first got here. And, we made him play safety, and he embraced it and became a good tackler and, made some good plays for us last year. We feel like we've got a good pair at corner. We just don't know who's next. And we're figuring out who's next. And D Nash athletically is certainly skilled enough to be a really solid corner. So we're going to look at him there during preseason camp. And he's going to be prepared to play both during the season.
Talking to some of the defensive guys in the spring, they talked about how tough it is to keep up with this new fast-paced offense. How do they keep up with them today?
Well, we're not tempoing yet. you're still installing, so we probably won't tempo till early next week. But once you start moving the ball during the team setting, then that's really when the offense will be the most effective and when our defense will be tested. But we're going to need it. I mean, game 2 ODU, they snap it as fast as anybody in the country. And the good thing for us, whether it's ODU or UTSA or FAU, whoever it is, our defense is going to be so much better prepared for the tempo offenses this year, not only for the speed, but also for a lot of the scheme-specific things they do in the passing game that we got hurt on last year.
For the offensive line, I guess especially this early without pads on, I guess what are you looking for? Is it just them being able to move cohesively together? And
right. Execution, playing together. That's the one thing is, this time last year we went out there on day 1 and you had 5 new guys playing together. They had not played together ever before. You go out there today and you got 4 that took a ton of snaps last year together. Okay, and then you got another one that's a veteran guy that transferred in that did well in the spring. You add in Carson, okay, who's an older guy from Houston. Okay, Tarpey, he's been through a spring. He's an older guy, so we at least have guys that have played. Okay, and that's a huge deal. It's having experience. So I expect them. I'm gonna look at the film. I expect them to see pretty good execution. Okay, and pretty good playing together. Okay, now going into the weekend, then we'll find out because I expect our fronts to be. I expect our fronts to be better than they were last year. I expect our offensive front to be significantly better than it was last year. But we're going to be able to test each other because we know what we got up front with those guys defensively, and I've challenged them that they've got to be better. Those guys have started for 4 years now. There's no excuse for them not to play at a high level, and they expect that of themselves. That's not just me expecting that; they expect that of themselves. That's going to be a great way to evaluate both sides. Is just the experience we have coming back, so we should be able to execute without just busts.
How good was it to get Rajay back? I'm sure he's been doing stuff this summer,
Oh, yeah.
but back full speed.
Oh, and I mentioned he's one of the ones. He had a great practice today. One of those young backs that he got to him, he's on down on a knee over there. Rajay jumps in with the 3rd group and he's taking snaps there. Now I'm over there ripping the young kid's butt because, my 5th-year senior shouldn't be out there taking every snap because you can't catch your breath. Just because you sat around all last week and didn't listen to us and you weren't prepared for today doesn't mean you get to take the day off. But it's great to have him. His leadership, okay, his positive enthusiasm. I want to see him back to him. Back to that kid that we saw in 2020, back to that kid that we recruited. He's had the injury stuff and dealt with some stuff, and he is in as good a shape and as healthy right now as he's been since his freshman year. And I can't wait to see him play on the 31st.
Speaking of leadership, how is Jake and Caton kind of taking on that leadership role at quarterback?
Well, I think they're both trying to do a good job. I think it's tough in the situation that they're in because neither one's been named the clear-cut starter. They both have the attributes to do it, and they both have the respect of the locker room. So it's just going to be who kind of establishes himself as the guy, okay. And then I think then it's easier for you to be that the Holt Nailers. I mean, for the last 2 years of Holton's career, there was no doubt who the leader in the locker room was, but that took a while for him to establish. Okay, so that's same thing here. They've got to establish themselves as the starter and the guy, and then they'll embrace the leadership piece.
Not talking about these specialists specifically, but when do you guys start evaluating who's going to earn their starting jobs on the special teams? Around them as
today. I mean, we did punt and kickoff both today. Worked the returners a good bit today. Worked both kickers, place kickers at the end of practice today. Had a scripted deal for kicks. So it starts today. And I just want to say, Andre Powell. I have known him for 20 some odd years. I mean, we told the story about when I used to go visit with him when I was a young high school coach, and of a lot of the stuff that we did at the Citadel, Lenore Ryan, James Madison, a lot of the stuff that we've done here from a standpoint of our schematics has been stuff that I've had go. I mean, every special teams coordinator I've had went and visited with Andre Powell, before the season, and so just to have his experience and his leadership. Not only with the special teams, But I mean, this is a veteran guy. He's been through a lot and seen a lot, and so it's great to have that wisdom in our staff room and that leadership for our special teams units.